This is episode 315 of the Beyond the Food Show, and today I'm inviting you inside the Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass, Day 3. It is time to let go of the shame, the stress, and the anxiety we feel about our weight and our body. Ready? Let's do this. Welcome to the Going Beyond the Food Show. I'm Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist and creator of the Going Beyond the Food method. And after a 25-year dieting career that started at the age of 12, I decided to say hell no to diet culture and undiet my life. It is now my mission to help women undiet their life. If you're new to our podcast, be sure to grab our free podcast roadmap at stephaniedodier.com/roadmap. Ready, sisters? Let's do this. Welcome to the Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass. I'm so freaking excited to be able to put this on the podcast feed. This is the recording from the free live event that is happening, hopefully in the same time that you're listening this, February 15th, 16th, and 17th, 2022. And I wanted to invite our podcast audience to join us. If you're listening to this and we're not finished yet, meaning it's before February 17th, you can register to join us and we'll send you all the recording and the worksheet from the prior days. You can go to the show notes or at stephaniedodier.com/masterclass series. I've never done a 3-day masterclass before. I have done a lot of 1 hour webinars and training, but this is like a big event where you get me for 3 days in a row and I'm coaching your brains out. Literally, we're going to get to work and solve this perspective you have on your weight in the 3 days. I'm going to teach you tools and technique to let go of the shame and release the shame out of your body, and how to take control of the feeling you want to have about your body and your weight going forward. So I'm going to share my weight peace protocol, and I'm going to show you how to process and release emotion about your weight, about your body. But here's the thing. You can apply that to the rest of your life. It's the same process. We're just going to teach it in the context of what we do here at Undiet Your Life. I'm going to teach you the riding the wave process. We're going to spend a whole day on self-authorization, which when I discovered this concept through coaching the women in my program, I put my finger on what was missing. You'll see when you get in. This is day 2 of the masterclass. I'm going to teach you how to think intentionally. Literally how to authorize yourself to think what you want about your weight and about your body. And on the last day, I'll be remiss if we didn't talk about other people's thoughts, words, and opinion, because that's a big roadblock as we enter the world of undieting our life. We are really, really worried about what other people in our life will have to say. So I'm going to teach you how to detox, literally how to release the worry you have about other people's thoughts and words and opinion about you, about your body, about the choice you're making. All of that can go away. And it's actually very simple. So I'm going to be teaching the first 20 minutes or so every day. And then I'm going to be answering questions and coaching. Because here's the thing. We can learn intellectually a pile of concept. Best example of that is reading the intuitive eating book. You can learn, you can read, you can understand the concept. But reading and understanding a concept is not what makes the change happen in your life. When we're talking about human behavior, yes, intellectual has a place into this and it must happen, but 75% of the reason why people change, transform, is because of the practice and the embodiment. In our coaching world, we have 3 stages of coaching. We have the learning, which is the intellectual process, and we have building the skill. Like we have to build the habit of doing the thing, and then we have to learn to live the rest of our life with this new behavior. So that's what coaching is about. And I'm going to give you a taste of that. I'm going to take some of the people who registered for the class that are raised their hand. I'm going to bring them forward and I'm going to coach them. Now, here's the cool thing. When you're listening to other people being coached, you learn more than when you're being coached yourself, as long as you're practicing active listening. So I'm going to teach you about active listening, and then we're just going to coach and learn. And by the end of the 3 days, I'm going to invite all the registrant, all of you on the podcast, to join us for the Confidence Bootcamp. The Confidence Bootcamp is a 6-week bootcamp where we're actually going to create confidence for our body, confidence for ourselves, and confidence in our life. We're going to continue the learning inside of Undiet Your Life, and a special focus on confidence for 6 weeks for all of you who are going to come join us inside of Undiet Your Life. The Confidence Bootcamp will start on February 28th. So you'll need to be a student of Undiet Your Life by that date. Okay, enough talking and introducing. Stop stressing about your weight masterclass. Let's roll in the recording. So welcome in to everyone to day 3 of Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass. So again, for those that are live, Q&A box, drop your question there. I will answer a few of them today. And if you want to get coached by me, about halfway through today, so in about 30 minutes, I will bring some people live with me to do some coaching. The way for you to put your name forward for coaching is by using the raise hand button at the bottom of your screen. So if you already know that you want to get coached, raise your hand right away. First come, first serve. And then later on, you can raise your hand as well if you feel called upon that. Okay. So let's get started. Some people in the chat are saying it's their first day here. Welcome. You have received all the audio recording via our podcast feed. So the audio versions, if you want to listen while you're driving, is on the podcast feed. And you also have the video recording. You will have access to the video recording for a lifetime. I'm not too sure about the podcast yet if we're going to leave it there. So you're not behind. That's just a thought. That's my first coaching of the day. Your brain will want to trip you over to feeling guilty and feeling behind. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be today. Okay, let's start with that. And I'm very excited also about all the questions and all the emails we've been getting about how impactful the last 2 days of classes have been for you. It's such a passion for me to be teaching that, and especially now to be offering it for the special event for free. Open up this knowledge to more women. It's my legacy. And I know that you guys will use it to transform your own life and creating confidence, going out into the world and changing the world. And also passing this information, this knowledge to your daughter, to your nieces, to young women, so they don't have to go through the drama of diet culture that we've all been through. And on that note, for those of you who have shared that you are indecisive on how to apply this work into your life, or if you want to continue working with us, I want to say this to you. I want you to recognize for yourself how resilient you are. You are here today. Your past self has survived diet culture, has survived misogyny, it has survived fat phobia, it has survived all the crazy restrictive meal plan and diet and detoxes and cleanses and 7 day at the gym week. You've survived all of this. I mean, hell yes. You did hard things. Like, I just want you to think about what all the shit you've done in your life in order to be compliant, with the result of feeling stressed and anxious and shame. But you did it all. You failed, you stood back, you came right back, and you're here today. You're here today because you want more. You don't want more of the pain and the suffering. You want more confidence so you can live the life that you want. And I'm here for you. But I'm going to say this to you. It's not going to be nearly as hard as what got you here. The work involved in becoming the confident version of yourself, the woman who doesn't stress about her weight, doesn't feel ashamed, does not have anxiety, is a lot easier than the work you've done to create the anxiety and the shame and the self-doubt. And that's what we're going to do together today and going forward in the Confidence Bootcamp. We have a lot of questions coming in, but I wanted to pick one particularly to get us started that will allow us to recap what we've done in the last 2 days. It's actually a question from someone that I coached yesterday about gaslighting. And I reflected on this question after our call together yesterday, and I wanted to add to this because it's such a great reflection of why we need to authorize ourselves to be confident and to think confident thoughts, and how the narrative, the social construct, diet culture, fat phobia, patriarchy, has us believing that when we think confident thoughts, we are wrong. Like how screwed up this is. Gaslighting is when we are undermining someone else or ourselves in our emotion and in our thought. When you're gaslighting, it means that you're telling yourself, I shouldn't be thinking this way. I shouldn't be feeling this way. When you are stepping into the world of possibility, which is exactly what I'm teaching, I'm saying, hey, you guys, we don't have to feel stress. We don't have to feel shame. We don't have to feel anxiety. We have an option. I am not saying to deny the fact that you feel stressed or you feel anxious or you feel ashamed. It's actually the opposite. I want you to sit in it and realize that that is the current experience that you're having with your body, but that you have plan B. You have another option that you can choose to step in. You can choose to be confident. You are allowed to. You have to authorize yourself to think the thought that are going to create the confidence in your body and that are going to propel you into the world, taking confident action, chasing your dream, doing all the things you've been wanting to do. You have to authorize yourself to choose option B, which means you have to choose to see the possibility in your life instead of your limitation. This is in your hands. You have to make this choice in order for you to think the confident thought. If you're not authorizing yourself, if you're not giving yourself the permission to change the way you think about your weight, about your body, then you will continue to experience stress, shame, and anxiety. And if you're saying, hell yes, I want to continue to feel shame and stress and anxiety, then go for it. My work as your coach is not to tell you what to do. My work is to allow you to see that you have choices and to guide you in the choice you're making. Now, granted, if you're deciding to stay stressed and stay shame and stay in anxiety, I really don't have no work as a coach for you, because you already know how to do this. You're living it. That's why you're here. You're here because you know how to do this. The goal of this 3-day masterclass is to present you an option for me as your coach to hold the belief that you can do this, and then to guide you through the process of achieving it. And that's one of our foundation value at Undiet Your Life, is empowerment, is always to put our client in a space where they have a choice, the choice to do what they want. And our role is to guide them. So I want to take a few minutes to talk about the next step. Today, we're going to talk about the number one obstacle, which is other people's thoughts and other people's words. But I want to also say to you that we're going to continue to be there for you, starting with the Confidence Bootcamp, March 1st. So it's going to be in 10 days from now. I think it's 10 days from now. So for everyone who's not fully caught up in watching the replay of Stop Stressing About Your Weight Masterclass, you'll have plenty of times to do this. And for the people asking, can I join now? Absolutely. You can join Undiet Your Life, which is the container where we're going to host the Confidence Bootcamp for 6 weeks. So if you're interested in getting started right away, you don't have to wait till we open the door. You can, right after this call, jump inside of Undiet Your Life and get started. There's 3 modules that you're going to have access when you join Undiet Your Life. The very first one is self-coaching. Self-coaching is the next step, right? I've given you how to process emotion. I've given you thoughts to think. Now, a lot of the questions are about, well, I struggle thinking these thoughts all the time. Totally normal. Like, your brain has been allowed to do its own thing up to now. Today is the day where you're taking control of what happens in your mind, and your brain's not going to collaborate. It's like a toddler. It's going to have tantrum. It's going to have no phases. We're not doing that. Self-coaching, the very first module inside of Undiet Your Life, is going to teach you how to coach yourself. And then you'll have us as your coach team behind you to help you coach yourself until confidence is a default setting in your brain. And then we're also going to give you access to 2 other modules, Peaceful, which is the module about becoming a confident eater, which, by the way, if you have a history of restrictive eating of any kind and you struggle with food and you're trying to show up as a confident woman, you need to clean up the food thing. Because if you apply control to your food, you're pretty much saying to your body, I don't trust you. Therefore, I need to take control. That will not create confidence. That will create constant self-doubt in you. So if you are someone with food challenges and restriction and control, the module on peaceful eating is there for you, because combined with self-coaching and mindset work, that is going to propel you and fast track you being confident. And then the last module is about body image. It's called Liberated. And it's all things body acceptance and weight neutral health. You're also going to get access to our vault, which is all the training and the bonuses I've done in the last 3 years, all kinds of specialty workshop, like resetting your exercise mindset, normalizing weight gain, past and future self, all kinds of tools. Not everybody need them, but for those of you who need it, they're right there. And if you join us before next Monday, that's February 20th, 21st, You will also receive the bonus of Achieving Your Goal series. This is 6 classes designed specifically for you to set a goal and then to set up the structure around achieving your goal without the normal social construct of achieving goals. So we're spinning things around for you to align them to what you're learning to create confidence. Plus, you're going to get access to our private podcast, to our Coach Corner. And I got to tell you about this. Coach Corner is access to private coaching via email. So you submit your question, your coaching request, and then one of our coaches will reply to you within 24 to 48 hours with coaching based on your question. So that's the Undiet Your Life, and that's where we're going to host the continued work here called the Confidence Bootcamp. You ready? You guys are ready to talk about the number one obstacle my student face, which is other people thoughts. That's the number one reason why women stop creating confidence. Here's the foundation of why this is so destructive. The more we care about other people's opinion, the less we care about our own. Think about this. When your own opinion of yourself is shitty and cause you a lot of suffering, example, stress, shame, and anxiety, it makes total sense that you would seek other people's opinion in hope of you feeling better about yourself. What? That's exactly what we do. When we are afraid of choosing things in our life because we consider what other people are doing, we're making other people's emotion, reality, and experience more important than our own. You basically adjust your life to fit other people's expectations. Remember yesterday we went into the chat and talked about people pleasing, and the chat was on fire. Now I want to know, when you think of other people's opinion of you, are you prioritizing theirs over your own? So let's go in the chat and talk about, is that your current experience of other people's thought? Remember, while you go into the chat and talk with each other about that and share your personal experience, remember one thing: that behavior, prioritizing other people's opinion, is socialized into us as women. We are raised by society, our family of origin, other women, to care more about what people think of us and fitting expectation. But here's the downfall to this. When you care more about other people's opinion of you, you make your emotional experience of your own life dependent on other people. So you're pretty much handing out how you're going to feel on a day-to-day basis to other people. You are relegating your emotional responsibility of your own life to other people. What? That's exactly what we do. When we center other people's opinion in our life, we're pretty much handing out the way we're going to feel to what other people think of us. I can see there's a lot of action in the chat right now. Yes, we grew up with these opinions. That's how we were raised. I'm going to give you a great example here. We use other people's opinion against ourselves in area where we feel bad about ourselves. But in area where we feel good, where the belief and the thought is aligned to our value, we don't give a shit. Here's an example in my life. If somebody has opinion about me being a feminist, I have been a feminist my whole life. It's part of my DNA. That's what I believe in. That's why I do what I do today. If somebody has an opinion that being a feminist is a terrible thing, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to think they're the problem, not me. But while I can do that for being a feminist, up to about 5 years ago, I could not do that when it came to my appearance. If people had comments, opinion about my appearance, I would feel terrible. Why? Because their opinion, their thought met my own opinion of myself. I carried the opinion, I carried the belief system, I carried the thoughts that being fat was terrible. So when people around me had that same opinion, I then reacted with, oh my God, they think the same way as me. And I felt terrible in my body. So when we react emotionally to other people's opinion of us, it's because we have the same opinion of ourselves. Here's where it gets even more twisted. We project our thoughts on people. Who can look back in the chat, tell me if you think you know what other people think of you? Who's one of those person? You walk into a room, people haven't said anything about you, but you know what they're thinking and you know they're judging you, but they haven't said a word. But in your mind, this storyline is just running around that you're being judged. Meanwhile, people haven't said a word because you're projecting your own thoughts on people. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, my brain does that. Absolutely. Yeah, we're all those people. That's human brain 101. That's where coaching ourselves, managing our mind comes in, right? When you walk into a room, you don't have to let your brain project your thoughts on people. In the same way, people can't control your thoughts of you, right? You can't control other people's thought. They can't control your own. That's the beauty of being a human being. We have freedom to think what the hell we want, which means you can change your own opinion of yourself. So in the worksheet you're going to receive today with the replay, I'm going to share in there with you the 4-step process for you to detox yourself from having to worry about other people's opinion. The first place I want you to start is acknowledging that when you think you know what other people are thinking, it's really your own thoughts. 2, fully sit in the fact that you can only control your own thoughts. If people want to think you're a terrible person, there's nothing you can do. Even if you try to please them, which we figured out yesterday, most of us are people pleaser. When you try to please people, it doesn't change their thought of you. It makes you feel terrible because you're denying yourself and you're pleasing them, but it doesn't change their thoughts. And then 3, the step number 3 is take responsibility of your own emotion. Other people's thoughts, opinion, or word cannot come into your brain through the membrane of the brain and the cranial bones, go into your brain, and then create an emotion. The only way for other people's words and thoughts and opinion to affect you is because they are met with a similar thought in your brain. Therefore, If you feel shitty because somebody said something, it's not their fault. It's you having a thought that creates that shitty feeling in your body. Now, this is where people can say, well, that's gaslighting. No, it's not. It's saying, you want to feel shitty? Go ahead, keep feeling shitty about other people's work. Your choice. Or you can then look at this and say, how can I take responsibility for my own emotion? In this situation, how can I change the way that I feel? That's not gaslighting. That's emotional responsibility. And then the most interesting part is self-reflection. When you leave the event and you have this emotional reaction, then you need to ask yourself questions. And in the worksheet, I'm going to share my favorite question to ask yourself to figure out what are your thoughts that created how you felt when this person said something. So I'm going to share a couple of it here, okay? How is this person's opinion about me met my own opinion about me? What am I making this person's words, opinion, mean about me? Because there's many times people say things and they don't direct them at you, but you hear them and you grab them and you make them mean something about you. Because we're so people seeking validation, right? We don't have our own opinion of ourselves and we're seeking everywhere. We're like on high vigilance all the time. What are they thinking? What are they saying? What does that mean about me? Right? Who's recognizing themselves there? Like they're constantly scanning the environment to see what other people are saying and to make it mean something about you. Meanwhile, that person is not even talking about you. They're talking about something else and somebody else. But here we are making a drama in our brain thinking, oh my God, that means this about me. Oh my God, now I know what he's really thinking about me. All that shit is mind drama that doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be there if we have our own opinion of ourselves. That's what confidence brings. What's the gift of confidence? Is having your own grounded opinion of yourself. So when you go out into the world, you are strong in who you are. And you're not seeking validation constantly from people around you because you are validating yourself. What a beautiful gift. So in the worksheet, you will have these kind of self-reflecting questions that when practiced with time will help you unpack what's in your brain, clean it up. In the podcast, I call that Marie Kondoing your brain. Who knows Marie Kondo? Let me see if I'm the only one who knows who she is. Marie Kondo? Marie Kondo is this woman who has a technique to purge and clean your home. Yeah, people are loving her. Great. So Marie Kondo says, in your home, you want to purge things, grab the thing and hold it and see if it makes you feel good. And if it doesn't, let it go. Think of the thoughts in your brain in the exact same way. You have to look at them and ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it serving me towards what I want in my life? And if it doesn't, out the door it goes. And then you keep the thoughts that makes you feel great, that create confidence, that align you to your goal and where you want to go. So asking yourself these questions when you feel emotional in reaction to other people will get you to that place of looking in your brain and cleaning up what doesn't serve you, that makes you feel shitty, so you can have space and room to create confidence. There is a specific class that we have inside of Undiet Your Life specifically for people that need boundary when it comes to other people, because that is sometimes I want to highlight this, that sometimes while you do the work of cleaning up your brain and building strength and confidence, you need a period of time where you need to establish boundary. And then we have a class specifically designed for boundary setting and having hard conversations. So we've got you. If that's you and you need help with that, we have a specialty class just for you there. When you change the way you handle people's thoughts, words, and opinion, what you are doing is you are creating emotional safety for yourself. You are creating an environment where inside of you, in your mind, in your emotion, you have your own back. You know that as far as what you can control, you will curate an emotional space within you that is safe for you. Having your own back, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, because that is essential for you when you do the work to build your confidence, to build your trust in your body. You need to learn to have your own back, meaning, and I'm curious for those that are in the chat right now, who has ever made a mistake or an error and beaten themselves up in the mind? Like literally calling themselves name in their brain, spending hours thinking how terrible of a person they are because they made this error, they made this mistake. Oh my God, you screwed up again, right? This is what's going to happen as you apply. See, the chat's on fire again. As you apply the technique I'm teaching you, your brain will send you to that space. Your brain will be like, Stephanie, taught you exactly what to do, and you're such a failure. You can't do it, right? That's what your brain will send you to. You have to learn to have your own back. That's what a coach does for you. A coach will help you, show you how you can have your own back through learning a new step, a new way of being, a new skill set. Think about sports team here, right? There's not a sports team or professional athlete that doesn't have a coach. Why? Because the coach is that neutral person beside this learner, this student who's learning to perform, who's learning to play in a team, and constantly offer guidance and feedback as they're learning to perform or to do teamwork in a sports team, constantly bringing them back in alignment. Having your own back is truly being your own coach, right? You have to know that no matter what you do, you ain't gonna beat the shit out of yourself. Okay, so we'll talk about that more tomorrow, how to have your own back and how it can show up in your life. I want to close this day 3 session in reminding you that throughout all of my teaching, all of the coaching that I'm doing, you always have to make a choice. Your brain is on the default setting of seeing your own limitation. That's how human brain are set up. That is ensuring your safety. Staying where you are, your brain is the default setting of your brain. That's choice A. And then you have choice B, which is to see your own possibility. That's a choice you have to make. It's what actually builds confidence. What builds confidence is making choice after choice after choice, including food choices, to fight for your own possibility instead of your limitation. That's what builds confidence. Okay. We are stepping in to the coaching segment of day 3. So for all of you, there's 2 ways of interacting with me. Number 1, you can raise your hand at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to bring you in video and or audio, and then we're going to coach live, and or dropping your question in the Q&A box. So go ahead and do that while I drink some water. Okay, I'm going to go to the full screen. Okay, so let's go to the Q&A box. No one is, so first question for everybody. No one is perfect, and we all truly have areas in our life that we need to improve or do better. How do you balance creating confidence with truly being self-aware of area that you need to improve or taking step towards making those change? So the philosophy that we operate upon from an empowerment standpoint is that we don't need fixing. Like this whole belief system that we need to fix ourselves because we need to improve ourselves is behind us. That's what gets us into trouble. That's what gets us to go into the cycle of losing weight and trying to fix ourselves because someone outside of us has told us that we need to improve ourselves, and now we're trying to meet other people's standards. That's a choice we need to make. We need to accept where we are and how we are today, and moving away from fixing to creating ourselves. How do I want to show up in life? So great example of that is when you come to the world of stopping stressing about your weight, you can have 2 lenses. You can have the lens, oh my God, I'm so broken. Here we go again. I'm stressing. I shouldn't be stressing. I'm anxious. I shouldn't be anxious. Look at this person. She's not anxious. What's wrong with me? I need to change myself. Lens of fixing ourselves. Lens number 2 is like, I could stop stressing about my weight. I could stop feeling ashamed. I could stop feeling anxious. I didn't realize I had a choice before. Let me try it. Let me see if I can create confidence in my life, and let me see what else I can do with my life. Same choices, 2 different perspectives that will land you in a process of creating that confidence from 2 different spaces. So we aim at creating the space where you can create your choices. So there's no balance because everything is a choice that we can make to create something new in our life. We don't have to improve. We don't have to do anything better if we choose to. That's empowerment coaching. So that's where we operate from. Okay, so take that in, and then you can send back a secondary question if you want. Hopefully I made that clear enough. Okay, what else do we have here? Is there anyone? I don't see anyone that wants some coaching here. So I'm going to go back to the Q&A and chat box here. How long does it take to rewire your brain so you don't slip to the defaults? So this is a great question. Number 1, you have to accept that you, quote, will slip back. We don't call that slipping back because that's tainted with something is wrong with me. I made an error. I'm terrible. I shouldn't be doing it. And then you collapse, right? That's what we call the human experience. So I'm going to give you another teaching from our program here. Life is 50-50. One of the greatest, I want to say, lie that we are being fed is that the human experience should be perfect all the time, right? We should be perfectly balanced. We should be perfectly healthy. We should be perfectly beautiful. We should be perfect at everything. Therefore, if we work hard enough and we improve ourselves hard enough, we're going to be happy all the time. That's one of the greatest lies you can believe into. That is not the human experience. The human experience is 50% not fun and 50% fun. You have to be able to be in both spaces and be okay with it. So back to the question, how long does it take to rewire your brain? You'll never have a, quote, fully rewired brain, because then you wouldn't have a human brain. Human brain operates out of fear to keep you alive. What you can hope for is that 50% of the time, it will think the thoughts that you want to think, so you can create the experience that you want, while being okay with the other 50% of the time where you feel frustrated, you feel angry, and you are able to sit in the frustration without spiraling out of control, right? This is where we learn to process our emotion and be able to be with our emotion without all the drama and all the like cycling out of control for days and weeks on end, right? Yesterday, for an example, after dinner, probably around 6 or 7, I felt frustrated because of something in my life, right? I felt frustrated for a couple of hours, went to bed, and then started my day in a new world of emotion, right? Because I'm able to create the emotion that I want by the thought that I'm having. So when I woke up this morning, I'm like, okay, girl, we got to change the way we think about this situation, because I am feeling frustrated the whole day again. So how can I look at this differently? I coached myself. That's self-coaching. Until you can learn how to do that, that's where we hold you to be able to learn how to coach yourself. We hold the space for you. We ask you questions to coach yourself, so you can learn how to do that to yourself. So there's no time stamp here, because fully rewiring your brain is not the goal, because it's impossible. But we equip you, or you equipped yourself with being able to live the other 50% of your life from a place of ease. Okay, hopefully that answered that question. Another question is coming in. Sometimes it's not the topic, like in your example, being a feminist, which is the problem, but the person telling you. For example, if person A comments on your feminism, you might not care. But if person B says something, you may feel bad. What is the difference here? Great question. If you are anchored, for an example, in your belief that being a feminist is the best freaking thing on earth, and it gets wired into your DNA, I have to say, person A or person B will not matter into you, right? So when you feel shaken a little bit, not all the time, but just sometimes, about what other people are thinking, ask yourself the question I put on the worksheet and find where your belief is a bit shaky. So when person B, for an example, often the shakiness around your belief will come in with family member or person that you hold a lot of respect for, right? So when it's people you hold a lot of respect for, or moms and dads and brother and sister, they will say things that will shake you up. And that's the opportunity for you to look as to where in your belief about yourself you are still not 100% sure. Another way of saying it is those people that you respect, these authority figure, very often these are authority figure. They may not be family authority figure, but it can be authority figure from other places in your life, you are valuing their opinion more than your own. So you're putting them on the step up to you. So often one of the reasons where we feel shaky in our own belief, when somebody says something and then we look into ourselves and we feel shaky, is often because there's a selected group of people in our life where we value their opinion more, typically 3, 4, 5 people in our life. And then we sit here. We don't believe that we're as good as them. They're smarter than us. They're better than us. When they say something, we make it mean something about us, right? Part of authorizing yourself and developing your own authority of yourself is to bridge that gap. Hey guys, Stephanie here. So we had some Zoom issue and our session of day 3 got interrupted 35 minutes in. So that's why there's such abrupt stop to the teaching session. But we're going to have a bonus day tomorrow, day 4, where I'm going to pick up exactly where I left off. So scroll on your podcast feed to the very next episode, and then we'll pick up the conversation where we left off. And I'll see you over there. Beyond ready to shed diet culture from your life and become the expert at your own body? Awesome. Then you need to join Undiet Your Life program. Go to stephaniedodier.com/join and join us now. Undiet Your Life is the first program of its kind with the unique combination of mindset, life coaching with intuitive eating and body image. Find your freedom, reclaim your power, and take control of your time so you can refocus on what really matters to you. Join Undiet Your Life at stephaniedodier.com/join, and I'll see you on the other side.